As we say hello and welcome in once again here to the iSNF Cup Series here from the Nashville SuperSpeedway here for Season 11, the penultimate race here of the Season 11 season here for the Opry 200 once again from the Nashville SuperSpeedway. Can't wait for this race tonight. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here as we're on race 21 of 22 here from the Nashville SuperSpeedway. Obviously, a lot to talk about tonight as we're approaching the end of the season here. As Thomas Flynn continues to try to work his way back and get his first championship here in his iSNF Cup Series career. It's going to be interesting to see how that all comes to be, right? You look back at Thomas Flynn, and you look back to, Justin Johnson, who's honestly really hasn't closed the gap. So obviously Thomas can still give it away here in these last two races as we look back here. And Justin is only one within striking distance, I think, right now of that number 24 Hendrick Motorsports machine, as he is 54 points back. Third place in points goes back to Chris Otto. He's 99 points back and in the red. So from my understanding here, he is he cannot close his way up in enough in these last two races to put himself in the fight here. So it's going to be in between that 22 Penske machine of Justin Johnson, the 24 of Thomas Flynn, racing it out here for the Season 11 championship. Like I said, Justin needs to have a phenomenal race tonight and then hope that maybe Thomas can have a bad race. Obviously, we haven't seen the best of that out of that whole 24 team this whole season, but we'll go down here trackside though. Look at some of your drivers here fastest in practice right now. You look at the two, Mark Gonzalez here out on the track. Still in the chase technically for this two team. Obviously not in striking distance for the championship there. You see him make contact with the 48 of Joey Bates. He'll park that car, but Mark comes in here, P4 in points. Still a solid season for him nonetheless. Here he'll go back to Cody Meadows here in the 12 machine. He comes in here 5th in points, 135 points back. And once again, out of contention for race for championship tonight, but you could call it his sophomore season here in the iSNF Cup Series. Oh, well, gotten to the championship for that last season when we still had the playoff format. Unfortunately, cannot get that championship under his belt there last season, but will come home most likely looks like P5 or P6 potentially in the standings. He does have a close battle with Charles Roberson, who is back there in P6 here for that P5 spot in the points there. Cody is only 4 points above the 11 of Charles Roberson. We take a look at Charles, but he still has that car in the garage trying to get that thing fixed up for tonight's race here from Nashville. And looking at the drivers who need to run well. Currently the 22 of Justin Johnson. He's P2 in practice right now. Actually pull up here. Your fastest lap times here in practice. Here on the left side of your screen. You see it's Nicholas Johnson, Justin Johnson, top of the board there. Then you'll see another Team Penske Ford. Actually, now Mark Gonzalez jumps up to the fastest lap time here. 29.97, and not surprising to see that. Mark, he's coming to, even some of my Twitch streams and have been trying to give me some advice of how to run this track here back when we're doing this for the officials and stuff. Mark knows this track very well. Not as surprised to see him top of the board here in practice. But we'll look here further at some of your race info for tonight's race. Obviously, the penultimate race here from Nashville SuperSpeedway. 150 laps here for 200 miles here. Right outside here in Lebanon, Tennessee, I believe, is where this SuperSpeedway is. It's located. 60% fuel, no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires. including the sets, not including the set they have when they go green there. So 5 total sets of tires, and then we do have 2 stages tonight, just like always on lap 35 and lap 70. And then we'll run, you know, after lap 70, we'll potentially run out, you know, that last city laps through to lap 150, full green and ready to go there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out and plays about. So obviously still using this newer ATVO package here. Obviously SDK still giving us some issues here up in the HVTV booth. So still trying to work out the kinks here when it comes to getting ATVO put together to Ria's liking. Obviously Ria has been so used to the SDK family and getting everything set up, but for us, you know, I think it's good for us to, you know, try to keep the tickers the same here for most of our leagues, and it's easier for all of us here on the network. So trying to get everything sorted out. Obviously not quite what we want here, but gonna try to figure this out. Hopefully we'll get better for, you know, the finale here coming into next week. So hopefully we can get it done and see if we can crown a champion in Chicagoland next week. So we'll see 2.5 minutes left in practice. Get a 20. And that Christopher Bell scheme. Back there in P3. Good practice for him. You look at Gabe Ledger taking over this 33 machine. Obviously, for obvious reasons, you know, that they will not be running here in iSNF Cup Series for the foreseeable future. And the 33 will take the reins here. That second RCR entry behind Austin Dillon's, you know, number 3 machine. Gabe Ledger driving the number 33. Currently P6 in practice. Just over a 10th behind your fastest lap here in practice from Mark Gonzalez at 29.974. We can actually pull up individual lap times here. Right there. Now you see Thomas Flynn, top of the board. 9.72 with the 24 machine. So Thomas looking pretty racy there in that 24 machine. Mike Iskandar in that Kubota machine. Nice looking paint. And you know, I love to see all the paints out running and stuff. Obviously, as the Cup Series goes to the Coronado Naval Base, a lot of the IRL Cup teams, you know, showed up and showed out, and, you know, have some special cars there going into San Diego. Cool to see them here on the virtual racetrack as well. We're ready to get into qualifying here from Nashville. Start the penultimate race of the season here for the iSNF Cup Series here in Season 11. So it looks like Thomas Flynn will take the cake here in practice as he'll be top of the boards. Mark Gonzalez, Will Austin, Nicholas Johnson, Justin Johnson, the fastest in practice here. We continue to tick down here. Underneath 30 seconds left in practice. And we'll get ready to get into qualifying here from Nashville. Obviously, track position is going to mean a lot. You know, it's pretty hard to pass here at Nashville. So, you know, qualifying is going to mean a lot here. It's gonna indicate, you know, who can make it further and who can get it done here in week number 21. As practice gets done here to 24, Thomas Flynn takes the cake here in practice. He's fastest in practice here. See some drivers pulling out their virtual machines. Going out on track here. One of our first drivers out. Actually, Justin Barkley in the 23. Filling in for Jason Steptoe. So So 5 minutes, 2 laps here for all these drivers. Go ahead and run on board with this number 23. Miriam had to wait to get back into the throttle there. Down into 4th. Back up in the 5th down the front stretch. P2 for currently 30.18 for Barkley. One thousandth slower than Joey Maines back there up in P2. Across the line. But Justin actually going to be a little bit slower this lap. Get some more drivers here out on track. There's the 11, Charles Roberson. Out of turn 3 and 4. Ooh, had to get out of the gas there. I wish for a better lap here on the second lap. Currently, Nicholas Johnson, Will Austin, Cody Meadows, your top 3. Wyatt Roberts jumps up to P2. Justin Johnson in the 22 out on track. Has a tall task to get around some of these drivers here in qualifying. Obviously, we didn't see any of these times even close in practice here. Down in the 8s from my recollection. So, see what Justin can do right now. In the green. Across the stripe, Justin Johnson, P3, 29.902. Good lap for the number 22. Going to get him some good track position. Mark Gonzalez in the 2. Out of 3 and 4. Down the front stretch. Mark. Good lap for him, I believe. P1 for Mark Gonzalez, 29.829. Just over half a tenth over Nicholas Johnson in the number 20 machine. We told you, Mark, he knows how to get it done here from Nashville. He shows it right there. Good qualifying lap for him. Still a plethora of drivers who are not going to decide to set a lap. Looks like 9 drivers. So 20th on back, deciding not to set a lap here tonight here from Nashville. So those drivers have to start tailing the longest line here. Just like that. Qualifying complete. Mark Gonzalez, Nicholas Johnson going to be your fast 2 here from Nashville. Looking back to some of the big names here. So Justin Johnson will qualify P4. Is, rival for the championship. Thomas Flynn, he qualifies P8. So, Justin needs to have a bad race out of the 24 to even give himself a chance going into Chicagoland next week if he wants to race for a championship. Everybody trying to get in their virtual machines. And ready to go green here for 150 laps here from the Nashville SuperSpeedway. Obviously, a lot of tools in the chest that these guys can use to better their car. Obviously, with the MCs, the rack and pier and stinnion, you can change how aggressive you can be with the steering. Obviously, the brake bias, all that stuff. So everybody trying to get their setup put in here. Obviously, a fixed set here for the iSNF Cup Series, but still slight little tweaks you could do to the set here to make sure it drives the way they want. Yeah, most of our drivers here on track. We'll go ahead and get your starting lineup here. Presented by HVTV, Mark Gonzalez, Nicholas Johnson, your top two there, the 2 and the 20, and be your front row. Wyatt Robertson at 21, Wood Brothers machine back there in P3, alongside another Penske Ford, and Justin Johnson back there in P4. We'll see DJ Daniels in the 77. Seen him running a couple of other races here on the network. He's going to be P5 alongside Will Austin back there in P6. Cody Meadows in 7th in the number 12 Penske machine alongside Thomas Flynn back there in P8. Jimmy Johnson, Alyssa Sharp round out your top 10. Looking further on back there in 11, Charles Roberson in the 11 JGR machine alongside Steven Sear in his Hendrick Cars number 5. Gabe Ledger, Joey Maines, the 2 Chevys will round out row 7, and back there in P15, Justin Barkley filling in for Jason Steptoe, and Shane Johnson in the 45. See back there, P17, Scott Trusty in the 51, John Hopley in the 4, back there in P18. 19th will go to Larry Fairman, and Rhea Ferris rounds out your top 20 tonight in that 66 Garage 66 machine. See further back, Timothy Cook Jr. in the 19 will be back there in P21. Terrence Preston will round out your top 22. Jeff Weimer, Eugene Thorne, the top 24. See Don Blazer in the RFK number 17 back there in 25th, alongside Matt Medler subbing in for the 71 there, back there in P26. Chuck Cobb in the 6 will be P27. Mike Giskindar P28, and rounding out tonight's field in that Haas Factory team number 41, Bob Wyckoff back there in P29. Looking ready to go green. You'll see the virtual pace car take off here out of pit road. Everybody else try to catch back up to the pace car. Once again, 150 laps here from the Nashville Superspeedway. 2 stage breaks here, one on lap 35, one on lap 70. And obviously, if we get within 5 laps of that stage break, we will have to call the race a little bit short. I mean, call the stage a little bit short there. If we get a caution within, after lap 30 or after lap 65, they will call the stage a little bit early. As obviously we won't be able to get back going green here in time to end the stage. So everybody's starting to get 2 by 2 as we enter out of turn 4. Did a pace car take a hard left turn down pit road, and we're going to get ready to go 150 laps here. As we'll hand the race back over to Barney the flagman. No, we won't, as we're getting ready to go back green. We're green for the Opryland 200. I see someone up in the outside wall there. Wrecking in the middle of the pack there. Steven Sear through the grass. Gabe Ledger also spinning it down towards the grass there. We'll keep it green here. No caution will wave. There's another wreck. Cody Meadows around. He'll collect the 66 of Rhea Ferris to 38. That's Larry Fairman subbing in for Chris Van Maastricht in the 38. So 2 wrecks here early to start the race. We'll take a look back at, first of all, the 5 of Steven Sear. Take a look and see what happened to the 5 in the 33 here. Steven just loose down the track. Nowhere for Gabe Ledger to go. They get it all saved back and moving forward. And then Cody Meadows up here. Middle of 3 wide. Gets a little bit of help from the 10. Jimmy Johnson comes up the track there, grabs the 3 of Will Austin, grabs the 24 of Thomas Flynn. Rhea Ferris, contact with another Ford teammate. She'll go around off there as well. We're right on board with Rhea. Did this wreck to see what she saw. Trying to get it slowed down here, and then just completely gets ran over by the 34 of Eugene Thorne. Not really anything Rhea could do there. You see her on board there in the 66 machine. It looks like minimal damage, if anything, no damage. The 66, she keeps it back going. The caution waves early here from Nashville. You'll see a plethora of cars down pit side here. Steven Sears decides to stay out, but Cody Meadows, some of the first drivers to come down pit side here. See if they have any damage, see if they can, and if they do, see how much they can fix here. Before the pace car catches back up. Back up to the leader here. I mean, Mark Gonzalez got the pull, got a good jump, kept the lead here over the 20 of Nicholas Johnson. It should begin the 1 to green here. Like Mark decides to pick the bottom here for this first restart. Some drivers already potentially packing it up early. I see Will Austin out of his car. Obviously a chase driver, but not in contention in the slightest here after not the best chase there for the 3. Obviously had some success. Has won a couple races here and there, but hasn't been consistent enough to put himself in a fight there. Will comes in to Nashville. We can find him here on the point standings. Will comes in here P8 in the standings. Obviously 152 points back, so not in contention. Looks like potentially an early race over there for the 3 machine, but back to green here. It's going to be Mark Gonzalez. Back in the restart zone, back green here. Going to get help from his Penske teammate, the 22, Justin Johnson. Good jump by the 2 Penske Fords. They get 1-2. That's going to be Johnson. Trying to hold off the number 20 of Nicholas Johnson. He's going to jump to the top. They battled off a P2 side by side at the line. Give it to the 20. But Justin just backs out. Trying not to be too aggressive here early. Put his car in a bad spot. It'll be Gonzalez, Nicholas, Justin, and DJ Daniels in the 77. Hey, DJ. Trying to run down this 22 machine. I believe this is one of DJ's first starts here. Obviously, he runs, I believe, in the Sunday Motors Truck Series there over on Mondays with us here on the network. So glad to see him back in another series here on the channel. Showing off some speed here early. He might be also doing AWC. I just can't put a pinpoint on where DJ is, but I know he's definitely been on he's definitely racing in one of the other leagues outside of iSNF, I believe. So we're showing a lot of pacer early in tonight's race. Trying to run down that 22 machine, not being able to make the move quite yet. By Roberts. He's down 3 spots from where he started. That 21 machine. Look here at his stats. He must start at 3rd. But you lost a couple spots here on the start. And then I'm not going to say that's worrisome for this 21 team. You know, I've seen Wyatt do this before where he'll drop down and go quite a bit of time here on the early part of the run to try to save some equipment. You know, try to run these guys back down later in the stage here. Remember, they have to run, you know, 35 laps to get to the stage break. So I can imagine this 21 potentially trying to save a little bit of stuff here. And then maybe when we get underneath, you know, 10 laps to go on the stage, you might start to see this 21 pick it up just a little bit. But right now, Wyatt back here just finding his own P's and Q's right here, back here in P6. Currently your biggest mover in the field. Back here in P12, Don Blazier in the 17 machine. Showing some speed here from Nashville. Looking underneath the 45 of Shane Johnson. Going to keep trying to hustle this 17 back. He's back here right outside the top 10 in 12th place right now. You'll see that RFK number 17 continue to try to rumble his way forward. And he's got the leaders in his sights there. You can see the leader. So and for the most part right now, everybody minding their P's and Q's, not really any passing, not anything going on here. But they're just trying to find their rhythm, trying to find something here. Closest foul is now the 21 of Roberts, trying to close in on the 11 of Roberson. Wyatt will jump to the top. Try to get a better run, or maybe off the exit here. Got to build a run here down the backstretch. Also trying to keep that clean air on that 21 machine. Remember, especially at a track like Nashville, where it's kind of a pretty much a single groove track, it's going to be optimal, you know, to not be bogged down by the dirty air. It's also, you're kind of also at the mercy of everybody else around you, right? It's super easy to give out dirty air here at Nashville because there is really maybe 1.5, 2 lanes here that you can ideally run and to make good pace here. Can't go up there and run the tippy top there on the wall. There's just not any speed up there. They're not grip. You know, that's where the marbles will go up there throughout the race. There's nothing up there that will really benefit you to go up there and try to experiment. But Wyatt, you know, running about a lane and a half higher than this 11 of Roberson. See Roberson a little bit better through the corner, but Wyatt gets a little bit of a better run off. And down the backstretch, he'll gain back to the 11. Justin Johnson holding on here, but he's not been able to shake off that 77 machine of Daniels here. Kind of a little bit of like a 4-card pack under a blanket. 22 to 77. the 11 and the 21 here. The Chevy and the Chevy and that Toyota and a Ford sandwich there. Not only that, 2 Penske Fords there, back there in 3rd and 6th. So now both RCR Chevrolets looks like have left the race early. Gabe Ledger has also decided to call it a night there at number 33 Cheddar's machine. But unfortunate for RCR as they have lost both their drivers early here in tonight's race here from Nashville. Again, nobody really making moves. Everybody just kind of settling in, minding their P's and Q's. The 11 making a move on the 77 potentially. Trying to make something happen. Had to back out of it. Start to see people starting to move around, trying to experiment, trying to figure out some lanes there. Out of 77 go up a lane and a half there through 1 and 2. Trying to find something. Nicholas Johnson starting to fall back to the rest of the field here. Is Justin Johnson in the wake here. Saw the 20 a little bit loose out of the corner there. Caution. Got Trusty. Like he had some issues here. Had to turn 4. Slow through the trial. Caution wave here for the second time. This gets loose out of 4 there. Up the track he goes. Good job for him to lock it down. And keep that car, I guess, if you want to call it predictable, right? He wasn't trying to swerve around, trying to save it. He just kind of locks it down, kind of in the middle of the track. But, you know, he was kind of in that spot of the track. The whole kind of slide there. Locks it down there, but that will be another caution here. So we'll sack him back one more time here in stage 1. So the question is, you know, we've ran 23 laps. Do you see anybody come down pit road? Obviously, we're getting a stage caution in about, what, 8-9 laps after we go green. So do you see some people potentially flip the stage here and just try to, you know, conserve the tires these last couple laps before we get to the stage, right? And then they'll stay out. Get the track position here as everybody else will pit after the stage is complete. But if you decide to pit now, you kind of have laid in the bed that you are going to most likely stay out when the stage comes around. Unless you've got some damage, right? And you're trying to get that done. But if you pit now, you're most likely staying out here at the end of stage 1 to get the track position. And then obviously if you stayed out now, you kind of going to be forced to pit when and if the stage ends, right? Once again, it's Mark Gonzalez. Led every lap. We sit under a red flag here in the O'Reilly Series race. I'm unsure of what happened, but regardless, red flag conditions in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race there from Coronado Naval Base there in San Diego. But who do you think is going to get it done tonight here from Nashville here in the penultimate race of the season? See it in chat to see who you guys are cheering for. Who do you think can get it done? Right now, Mark Gonzalez looks like he could be a favorite. He's led every lap. He got the pole. Looking pretty quick here. These early laps here from Nashville. Led every lap here tonight from Nashville. Can he hold on here to get the win here in the stage? Just have to see. A pace car back in. It's going to be Mark Gonzalez, the 20 of Nicholas Johnson, back into the restart zone. Back ready to go. 10 laps to go here in stage 1. Another good jump by the two Penske Fords. They'll get back to 1-2. The potential wreck in the back. Yes, wrecking in the back once again. Wow, Cody Meadows again involved in another one. Like the 71 and Matt Metler also caught up in it. Caution on leave here once again here from Nashville. We'll take a look. See what happened here further in the back. The 71. But Cody Meadows, it's all kind of started with Meadows again. Sounds like a race ender for Cody potentially. I heard someone's engine expire here in this wreck. Once again, middle 3 for Cody. This time it's the 45 of Shane Johnson. And then finally gets finished off by, front row, a line car. I think that was a 71 engine who expired. So Matt Metler, that sounds fake, gonna call the night early here from Nashville. Caution out one more time here from Nashville. Let's see if we can back up here Mark and see if we can talk to him up here in the booth. He's led every lap tonight. You can find him up here. Hey Mark, it's Christian up here in HV2 booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Oh, you've led every lap here thus far in this chaotic field first stage here, but obviously you got you and your other Penske teammate up here 1-2. Do you guys think you've got what it takes to, sweep the stage here, sweep this first stage?
Yeah, I think we have what it takes. I think tires aren't really falling off that much. So we're hoping that we can keep, the pace up with those new tires. I know some people are trying to flip the stage here, so we'll see what happens after the stage, but I think we can get it 1-2 here.
Obviously, we know how well you Penske guys like to work together. They keep each as we should be back here. We've been having some connection issues with the YouTube side of things where it wants to disconnect, and obviously SDK has been giving our systems a lot of load here, and ever since we've updated SDK, it's been my system has had a lot of issues over here. So loading back in the sim there, obviously we got to talk to Mark just a little bit here. We'll see if we can load in here as quickly as we can to get
telling me to stay behind the 51.
We're trying to get everything loaded in here. Like we might have had a caution here while we were gone. The one time we didn't need one, we got one. We'll go back here live. A virtual Nashville SuperSpeedway. So yellow flag conditions here on lap 32, which means that I see a lot of our front runners up who came down pit road there, which would indicate to me that most likely we did get a caution here. Jimmy Johnson wins your race off pit road. See the lights off on the pace car, which means we'll be going back one to green. See the 24 there in the 4 shot, trying to limp that damage back around. There should be good stage points for Justin Johnson by the looks of it there. I'm going to assume that 24 did not get any stage points. Thomas working his way back around there. Lots of damage on that 24 after getting caught up in a couple of wrecks tonight. See the pace car, hard left turn down pit road. It's going to be Mike Iskandar, Eugene Thorne, Chevy, forward front row, back to start stage 2. Back green here from Nashville. Mike going to clear here through 1 and 2. Good restart by the 1 machine. Caution. Looks like the 11 around in the back here. Charles Roberson. A huge issue here on the restart. Take a look and see what happened to this 11. Levin tried to get clear. They're not clear off the bumper of the 21.
Come on, big sharp.
Up the track, the 6 grabs him. The 4 grabs him. Huge damage to the 11 of Charles Roberson. Yeah, I think he thought he was going to get clear of the 21, and fortunately he didn't.
Yes, correct.
I'm going to try to figure out why we cannot mute the chat here. Got that figured out. To bring you back down live here on the TV cameras. Mike Iskandar, Eugene Thorne still leads here from Nashville. To keep the system sane, I'm just going to make the executive decision to not drag anybody back up here into the booth until we get to the post-race show, where hopefully all the cars should be parked and out of the way. A little bit less load on our PC, and I'm looking into getting the final parts here to upgrade, you know, the PC. We did get a new motherboard, we did get a new CPU, but unfortunately, along with that, we're moving up to the AM5 platform here for the Ryzen stuff, and that means I can't just plug in my old RAM into this new motherboard. I have to get DDR5 RAM, which obviously, for anybody that knows how the RAM prices are right now, they are skyrocketing, right? 32 gigs of, you know, DDR5 RAM can go up to $600-700, right? Um, with the RAM shortages, with all the AI integration, everything, it's definitely increased the pricing on RAM and storage. Even CPUs are starting to skyrocket even more and more. So now we're trying to fundraise some money to try to go get some RAM for the new PC, and hopefully, you know, the crashing and the instability will stop, and we can put on a good broadcast for you guys at home. We can add some more features to the broadcast, to everything right now, because we're really just trying to limp it around here for now, as so we can figure out what's causing the issues here in the studios here for HVTV. So our second restart here, the race here in stage 2. We're trying to race to lap 70. But once again, it's going to be now Eugene Thorne and the 60 of Jeff Weimer on the front row. They bring it back to green. A horrible start out of the top line, and the bottom two get away. Comes Nicholas Johnson to the top side. Nicholas, a horrible corner right there. Gonna crossover, gonna try to get clear of the 34, he will. Now everybody gonna eat up that 34 with those older tires. Eugene Thorne gonna get put in the middle. Everybody gonna have to be cautious around him with the older tires. The car is not gonna drive as well as he would probably want it to. Contact between him and the 34. The 22 is gonna go around, the 20 around. Caution will wave once again. Nicholas Johnson, I think, lost it on his own as well as the leader. Take a look at the leader here. Nicholas Johnson. Just self-spun on his own. Down the grass. We'll take a look at the 34. I saw someone spinning down the backstretch as well, but regardless, 34, he takes the lead. A good crossover, and then the 20 recrosses him over. The 34 is super slow coming down the backstretch here and just gets swallowed up by the pack. See him middle 3 here in the 3 and 4. And on the exit, trying to give room when he just barely gets into him. The 22, my apologies. And nowhere for the 22 to go. You'll see Wyatt Roberts make a little bit of contact. And caution will wave there. Just a driver on older tires, just kind of put in a bad spot. And that's why I would say, you know, that's the downside of trying to do something like that. If you can't hold on to it, you put a lot of drivers in risk of getting tore up because of you, right? Not being able to keep the same pace as the drivers up front, right? Granted, you know, it might be a good strategy call, and it could be, right, to do that. But also, if you know that you're going to be slow, you need to put yourself in a position to let those guys go in a good manner, right? Because, yeah, it might be a good strategy call, but it's also pretty selfish for you to stay out and, you know, try to hold everybody off the best you can on old tires and end up tearing up cars because you're putting people in a bad spot. Here we go. Back to the one to green. Be a new cast of characters. To the most part, it's Jeff Weimer. Trying to heat the tires up. He spins it down the infield here. I think he wanted to do that. We'll delay the caution to get Jeff back in his spot he's supposed to. We'll do one more lap under pacing here to allow some drivers. Looks like Cody Meadows, 24 Thomas Flynn, and 19 of Timothy Cook. We'll take this opportunity to get some more damage fixed. As the red flag has been lifted from the Indy O'Reilly Auto Parts race. Cars starting to start pacing here. Should be going back green here very shortly. Coming out of turn 2 here, we'll be going green this time by here to start your lap 43. Be Alyssa Sharp, Mark Gonzalez, Jeff Weimer after spinning himself out, trying to warm up the tires, and it's going to be Joey Maines in the 48-year Fast Four. Alyssa Sharp, we know she's got pace. We know that she could show it. Just hasn't had the season that I think everybody expected to. Obviously, she's not been able to make every race, but she's up here up front when she has the clean air. I think she can be dangerous, but she's going to lead us back to green. A good launch by the 54. We're back green here for lap 43. Get a lap car. For John Hopley. Ooh, really bad, awkward spot to catch him right there through the corner. Trying to let everybody go, but an awkward spot to catch everybody. Trying to be cordial about it. Everybody single foul for now. Wow, someone really up the track. That's Scott Trusty. Really overdrove 1 and 2 there. Gonna lose a spot to the 20 of Johnson. Now it's Justin Johnson gonna look underneath the 51. A little bit of contact. Got someone you don't want to mess around with too much there, so. Someone who doesn't take kindly the contact here in the iSNF Cup Series, so Justin got to get around there and get around him quick. He does. He'll move up inside the top 5. Kind of a little bit of a 4-car breakaway for now. But Johnson back there. It's kind of a 2-car tandem actually. Lissa and Mark. And then you see a little tandem back of Maines and Johnson. It's Alyssa off the bumper of the 2. A good save by her. You saw Mark back off of there to give her the space to save it. Joey Maines going to have to drive it in there. A battle for P2. Joey Maines trying to take it. Mark trying to hold on. Mark keeps the spot. Now it'll be a battle for the P3 position. This one going to jump to the top. Caution. Cody Meadows once again. Not the night that Cody expected to have, I don't think. So Cody going down here in the 3 and 4. Just lost it. Remember, you know, here in Nashville, new package. They are running the short track package here because remember, any track underneath a 1.5 miles. got the updated horsepower. And Cody struggling a little bit here. Obviously, he does have some damage on that car. Probably not helping the handling at all. Gosh, we'll wave one more time here. Right before we get to lap 50. But Alyssa gets to lead some more laps. After an amazing save. After the two tried to drive it in there, tried to take the spot away. Alyssa got loose and lucky. And thankfully enough, Mark was backed off. Had to let to try to let the 54 save it. He wasn't just gonna dump her on purpose. Mark isn't that kind of driver, so good for him to back off, let her save it. He didn't lose a spot doing it, so we're approaching the 1/3 mark in tonight's race. Already got done with stage 1. Alyssa will elect the top side here. He picked the bottom that first time, got a good launch. Wants to try something a little bit different here. Picks the top. I've seen a lot of drivers have success picking the top here at Nashville. Granted, I don't know if there's that much of a difference when it comes to top versus bottom. I think as long as you can time it right to where the second place guy can't really get a good jump, I think you're good to go, but there has been some success picking the top versus picking the bottom at some tracks. Regardless, we're going to go back ready to go green 2 by 2. It's going to be at a 54 and the 2. Sharp, Gonzalez, back to the Echo Park Research Zone, back green. This time, Mark gets a little bit of an advantage on the jump here. He'll stay side by side for the race lead. Gonna try to get clear. He will clear the 54 of Sharp. Sharp with the crossover, though. He's gonna look to the bottom here in the 3 and 4. How about the contact between the two? Where's the 20 go? When he backs off for now, Alyssa gonna drive it into the corner, contact for the race lead. And now here comes the 20, 3 wide. Mark will clear for the spot. I'll be about for P2. Comes to 22. Justin Johnson looking underneath the 20. Out for the P4 spot. Justin can't make it work. He'll get back in line right in front of the 77. DJ Janos, he's been up inside the top 10, inside the top 5. conversation all race long. Oh, the 22, a little upset there out of turn 4. Number 77 at the top. He will make the spot up on the 22 machine. Now once again, a single file train. Back to the leader. Under pressure from the 21. One thing I'm noticing is that 22 does have a little bit of right front damage, and he's keeping it up front for now, but not looking back. I think he'd like to be a couple spots better. He wants to try to beat Flynn, right? Thomas has not had a good start of the race and not get stage points in stage 1. Now Justin got, I believe, probably second place in stage 1. Obviously, we're away when the stage was official here, when the caution came out. Do you think he'd like to get a couple more spots here? And back to P6. Probably get, what, 4 points here as it sits. Oh, that's the 48 around. Caution will wave. Joey Maines. Sideways out of 4. Like he might have had a little bit of help. '77 gets into the back of the 20. The 20 collects the 48. They all keep it straight for the most part. Yeah, they all keep it straight, but I think iRacing, the way that it worked, it looked like there was just enough of them getting sideways that they deemed it a caution here. Not with that all said and done, we'll be getting ready to go back green here for stage 2. Underneath, 10 laps to go in stage 2. Mark Gonzalez will continue to keep the lead. He's in a spot right now to potentially sweep the stages here. Imagine if that 22 had the same speed that Mark did. It'd be a lot bit better for that Team Penske organization. Getting ready to go back 1 to green here. It will be a 9-lap shootout for the stage win. Mark Gonzalez, Alyssa Sharp. It will be the Nicholas Johnson to 77. DJ Daniels back there in the 77 machine. Here we go. Good 3 and 4. Gonna be a 9-lap shootout for the stage win if we can keep it green. Lissa Sharp, Mark Gonzalez, back into the Echo Park restart zone. Mark, a good jump. Back green here. That inside line, I think we're gonna get the top 3 and the bottom clear. They do. Mark out to the lead. Nicholas Johnson. Back to P2. He's looking to the outside of this 2 machine for the race lead. Mark gonna have to jump up, aero block that 20. Successfully, he'll get clear. Back in Nick. Find another way around. Talked about how hard it is to pass in the pre-race, and that 20 showing it off right now. He's gone to the back of this 2 machine and not been able to find a way around. Looking inside, looking outside. Laps in stage 2. Justin Johnson holding on back to the P3. This is going to be a good stage points finish. And guess what? We talked about it earlier. Thomas Flynn holding on to P7. That car looks pretty clean and green. Trying to grasp on any straw as he can right now to hold on here. From Nashville, trying to get the best finish you can here in this first stage. Remember, didn't get any stage points in stage 1. Lost a lot of points back to the 22 and try to bridge the gap. Versus Justin now, who I feel like is trying to hold on to this stage points finish with that damage on that right side. 5 to go here in stage 2. Mark Gonzalez still a handful from the 20. Nicholas is doing everything he can. Try to bridge the gap back to the 2, but we talked about it. Mark is so good here at Nashville. And it just matches the driving style so well, right? Steady in, steady out, hitting your marks, right? It's what you have to do here at Nashville. This is, that's, I feel like what makes Mark a good driver is the fact that he can hit his marks. He can put the car in the exact spot he needs to keep the car underneath him. And the track really does just play into Monk's strong hands, right? Marcus needs to hold on through 3 and 4. He's going to sweep the stages here from Nashville. Mark Gonzalez, potential favorite here tonight. He's going to get stage 1 and stage 2 here from Nashville. Across the stripe, Justin Johnson, P3. Thomas Flynn holds on to P7. So a 4-point swing back to the 22. Justin doing what he needs to try to bridge the gap there to that 24 machine. Stage 2 done. We weren't able to run a commercial break here for you fans at home, so we're going to be on that right back after the other side of this ad break here from some of our partners.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We welcome you back to the virtual Nashville SuperSpeedway here for the penultimate race of season 11 here for the iSNF Cup Series. Stage 2 finished. Mark Gonzalez sweeps here from Nashville. He wins the race off pit road as well, so he'll keep this track position that he very right deserves. DJ Daniels up to P2 out of the pit road. Alyssa Sharp, Wyatt Robert, Scott Trusty, your top 5. Justin Johnson stays back to get some of that damage fixed, and look who's right behind him, that number 24. Thomas Flynn, the two rivals here trying to battle it out here towards the to the very end here. For both those guys to try to win their first championship here in the iSNF Cup Series. Further up front. Some guys getting the wave around here. Mark Gonzalez. DJ Daniels going to be your front row here to start stage 3. No more guaranteed cautions for the rest of the race here. We could go this whole 75 laps here, give or take. 76 laps is what we'll be going green with. No. 77 laps, I believe, actually. We can go 77 laps green here if we wanted to. Obviously, it's going to be up to whether the driver's wreck or not, right? That's going to be ultimately the only reason why this pace car would ever come back out. Currently 18 cars still on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap, Eugene Thorne in that number 34 front row machine. And a couple cars laps down here. Chuck Cobb in the 31 laps down. Tony Maines 10 laps down. Cody Meadows 5 laps down, and John Hopley back there 2 laps down. So 4 cars laps down here still in the race, but see what they can do. But regardless, it's gonna be back to Mark Gonzalez, back to DJ Daniels, that 77 to 12, and that number 2 back to green here to start stage 3. Good jump by the 2. Once again, get out clear. They battle for the P2 spot. So Alyssa try to look to the bottom, then make the run happen. So she jumps back to P3. Look at that, Wyatt Robertson at 21. He's up in the P. Oh, remember, he started third. Starting to get back to where he was looking good from. Wyatt Roberts underneath the 54. Alyssa trying to fight hard on the top side. So we'll clear for the, we'll keep that P3 spot. You see the 20 and looking underneath the 21 now. Wyatt gives the room to Nicholas to try to stay side by side, and Nicholas will clear for P4 now. And Wyatt's that kind of racer where if he thinks you're faster, he'll just simply let you go, right? He's just looking for good finishes. Obviously, he wants to win, and he got that win from Pocono last week, so he wants to win more than anybody, but he's someone that I've always, you know, associated with. If you're faster, he's gonna let you go. He'll get you back later. If he can, right? If he can, he'll take the top 5 finish. He'll take the top 10 or whatever it is, right? Here comes the battle for the lead here. DJ Daniel looking underneath the 2. 77 trying to look for the lead for the first time. Gonna try to get clear here out of the exit. He will, but Mark Gonzalez with the crossover. On the backstretch, he's gonna look to the bottom. D. Daniels really drives it into the corner, trying to keep it side by side. Still side by side for the race lead. Mark's still trying to look to the bottom. This is the preferred line, but DJ doing a good job trying to keep the momentum up off the top side, but Mark once again clears back for the race lead. Mark Gonzalez continues to lead. Everybody else just kind of finding their own pace here. Not really a lot of aggressive driving. Not anybody just trying to get around for now. I mean, down there now, 18 cars on the lead lap. Don Blazier, the last car on the lead lap. First car laps down is still John Hopley back there. 4 laps down now. Back in 19th. And obviously we know if we go green flag from that restart, we are going to have to pit one more time. So then the question is, when do these drivers come down and pit, right? Do they short pit? Do they try to short pit just Mark, right? Mark seems like he's the guy to beat tonight. Do you see drivers try to come down and short pit Mark? Do you see drivers maybe try to long pit Mark? If Mark kind of comes down pretty early. Now Mark continuing the lead. 20 starting to run down. 77 though. That's going to be a battle for that P2 spot, I think, in just a little while. I'm trying to hold off to 77. Everybody not really battling with each other right now. The closest battle looks like further on back, potentially, for P12. Justin Barkley, Timothy Cook, back here for P12. Big battle back here, further on back. 23 looking underneath the 1 now. Eskandar under attack. Will jump up. He'll clear. We'll see the 23. He's going to look at the 5 now. I see if it's here. That's Barkley. You know, Barkley's got pace. You know, he can get up there and run up towards the front. Just hasn't had the race that I think he expected to have. Trying to work his way up slowly but surely up inside the top 10 as he did just make the pass for P10 over Steven. Beginning single file backed up. There, we'll go back and take a look at your race leader, Mark Gonzalez. So hasn't been able to get away really. The 77 right there within, you know, 2-3 tenths. Mark's starting to pull away just a little bit. Got that lead back up to about just under 4 tenths, about 3.5. But the 77 with the draft down the straightaway, he gets it down to about almost, you know, 2 3/4, 3 tenths here. But he's going to have a little bit, but that, once again, if he makes a mistake, the 20, he's going to come back there and he's going to pounce on the 77. On the 77, not the 27. See the 20. I think right now you're looking at just these drivers managing tires right now. I think they're okay for the most part where they're running. I don't think they want, I mean, obviously I think everybody wants to lead the race. They want those bonus points and all that, but I think for now they're just looking to see how do I set up this green flag pit stop, because it seems like right now a lot of drivers have already jumped out a little bit early here. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 drivers who have already DNF'd. And that would make this interesting to see with the strategies of the undercut and the overcut here as we approach 60 laps to go here in the penultimate race of the season. Mark Gonzalez, I mean, nothing to say about him. He's been on fire this whole race. Granted, he hasn't been able to really pull away from these these 2 cars behind him. Right here comes the 20 now, looking for a move on P2. Looking underneath. I think you should be able to get around. Not you. He's going to squeeze it up there. 77 up into the outside wall. So Nicholas Johnson takes P2 away. And now the 20. Foley on the 77 now after him getting into the outside wall after they're getting kind of air gripped by the 20. We'll have his heads fully set on the tube machine. A Mark, 7/10 of a second gap back to P2 now. Further back. Balancing back there for P4. I think Wyatt Roberts just got around Alyssa in that 54 machine. Wyatt Roberts up inside the top 4. And Balford on back again. Got Trusty, Justin Barkley. Justin is driven up through the field. Back inside the top 10. He ran about 24 laps on each stint, all right? We got 55 to go. And so if we do this right, you could ideally run, 20 more laps, or I get the 45 laps on each stint. You'd have 35 to go, right? Or you flip it, right? You could pit here in 10 laps and do a 45 lap run, right? At the end. You don't have to push the tires earlier. Back up the mark. Phenomenal race tonight here for this 2 team. Actually, a little bit slower than Nicholas. This last lap, 404 to a 483. Mark. Oh, you see the 220. Really upset out of the corner there. That's going to allow the 77. He's going to drive it in at the corner here in the 1 and 2. Going to try to retake this P2 position. Back. Maybe the 20 used to stuff up a little bit. Now the 77 really loose. And up out of the groove. I'm sure what that was about. I mean, we're only going to 90. What was it? Let's go back to the weather. 88 degree track temp. So, not like they're slipping and sliding around because of the temperature. Just looked like a lapse of mistake there from both those drivers. You're close to 50 to go here. Mark Gonzalez. About 51 at the 101 lap side. He's led half this race. Looking pretty dominant this far here from Nashville. Obviously a lot could change here in these last 50 laps though. And so, the 20 again upset in the back. Take a look back and see that slide out of the 20. Really good save. But cost him a lot of time. Cost him a spot, right? With that all said and done, that's allowed Wyatt Roberts to jump up into this fight. I'm interested to see it. Maybe Nicholas has a little bit left in the tank, or maybe he's just using stuff up here. He's someone I might look at to see if he's going to be one of the first to come down pit road. Those tires seem to be gone on that 20 machine. And this 20 just cannot get back around to 77. Oh, loose again. Mark Gonzalez has pulled away here. 2.5 second gap. Back to P2. We've hit that 35 lap mark in the race, so this is where could, I think, potentially make it here on fuel. Wanted to pit now. Got to shortcut the rest of the field. He's kind of kept this gap back here, planer back to about 4.5. With a P11 looks like Timothy Cook making the pass here. Alyssa, she's gonna take the hard left turn down pit road. She'll be one of your first drivers down pit side. It was 43 to go. Listen on her into her box. Now the question is, when does everybody else come down, right? Terrence Preston on pit road here. Wyatt Roberts comes down pit side. Wyatt Roberts out of pit road. Comes a lot of drivers. Here comes Johnson. DJ Daniels. Comes a 77 down pit side. Pushing some lap traffic to 38. Two, making a pass on the 38. 1:35 to go here as we cross the stripe. Thomas Flynn now pit road. I mean, he's quite literally one of the last drivers coming out pit side here. If it plays all right, he could chop the whole field a lap down. Comes the 2 down pit side now for his final stop. But I will cycle out the 6, Wyatt Roberts. He had a good stop. Roberts back up to the front. Gonzalez with the newer tires, 7-lap newer tires. They have enough time to get back to the 42. So there's the 2 right there. He's about, what, 2.5 seconds back. He's catching, slowly but surely, the 30.3 to a 30.04. .32 to go. Mark Gonzalez trying to hold on. Caution out in the O'Reilly Series race. Someone slow. No battles on track to be seen right now. Once again, this number 2 machine out in front. Trying to run down the 21, Wyatt Roberts. A little bit of a short stop, but he's got the 2, catching it quick with 28 to go. been definitely a unique race to say the least here from Nashville. Obviously, kind of a pretty plethora of cautions first couple of stages, and then after we got to stage 3, I don't know if the car count obviously went down due to the wrecks. Obviously, now we only have 13 cars on the lead lap. Joey Maines continues to pace himself. Going with 25 to go here. Estimated 12 minutes left in the race. From my timing and scoring, at least. Race is definitely flown by. Comparatively. You like to see it. You want to see a good long green flag run here from the Cup Series guys. It's not no disrespect, but you know, these last couple of weeks we've seen a lot of chaos, we've seen a lot of wrecking, times, and this is a great turnaround for all these drivers here to come out here and at one of the more difficult tracks on the schedule, and just keep it clean and green. This is kind of like vintage iSNF, right? Where we used to have these a lot more. And I'm glad to see that we're having one of these again. Wyatt Roberts needs to hold on though. He's got 24 laps is a long now, going to 23. A long time to hold on. And we've got someone like Mark Gonzalez who's consistently went about half to a full lap, 10th quicker lap. Running you down with the fleshy tires. Once again, we saw the 20 of Johnson, right? He got to the back of this 2 machine, couldn't make the pass, right? And then slowly but surely, Mark got away. You could see the same thing with this 21 machine potentially. That's gonna be one thing for Mark to get there, another to pass, right? It's been incredibly hard all race long to get these things wound up enough to get around a guy, especially when the speed difference is this similar, right? Well, I mean, the 2's there. I mean, Wyatt's gonna have to do something to try to hold this driver back much as he can. See if Wyatt has anything. You see the 2, he's gonna jump to the top. Gonna try to build the momentum here through the front stretch. He's gonna jump out of line there, use the draft. Wyatt's gonna block there. We're gonna drive it in. Cannot get side by side quite yet. Everyone's gotta get up and get clear once again. 21 trying to do everything he can to hold on here. 20 more laps. He's got the 2 all over his back end here. Mark Gonzalez. Makes the pass. Is the 21 of Wyatt Roberts had to come down pit road. Cannot make it. That's unfortunate. The Mark. The pass for the lead. He takes the point back again here. DJ Daniels back to P2. And he's kind of within striking distance here of that machine. And just a second, just over a second behind. And then Nicholas Johnson about 5 seconds back. He's got his hands full with some of these lap cars. I think they might have fresher tires as well. You see Joey Maines all over the back end of this 20. Jumps out of the gas there, trying to keep the car going. You look back at Justin Johnson, a good day for him. Not the best day, right? I think he'd love to have the speed that his teammate has had. But gonna get a P4 finish. Unfortunately for him, Thomas Flynn is stabilized back out. Gonna probably catch and run back down. Alyssa Sharp here and go back up to P6. Ooh, close there. Alyssa trying to shut the door there on the 24. Alyssa hasn't had a lot of good runs this season. She's not gonna just pull over and let Thomas have it here. She's gonna make him fight it for it. Doing a good job defending here. Trying to stay inside this top 6 spot right now. And there's no one behind. Right there, a little bit of contact there. Using up the 54. Thomas said, hey, I gotta go. He's her up. Alyssa's not giving it away too easy here. A little bit of a crossover from the 54. She's gonna look inside. He said, you're gonna door me. I'm gonna door you again. And that one looked a little bit more deliberate for Alyssa. Thomas gonna have to go back and remake the pass the hard way again. This time I don't think he's gonna be too friendly about this. And Thomas has got the better car. Made a little bit of accidental contact, drove her up the track. Alyssa lifted, crossed him back over, drove it in, shoved it back out. And if you're Thomas, you can't afford to make those little mistakes there and try to upset people this late in the season. I mean, if you can hold on to P7, right? I mean, that's a good spot to put yourself in going into Chicagoland next week, but it's definitely not over, right? Alyssa could have done a lot worse to that 24 and just like really aggressively used him up. He could have drove it in there, dumped him, did something, right? Because obviously, you know, I think it was more of a mistake out of Thomas. I don't think he meant to use her up. Alyssa backing up to the 24 once again. What is Thomas going to do this time? Will he repay the favor? Be some tire smoke there. Someone just loose out of 3 and 4 there. By far your closest battle on track. That's why we kind of kept the camera in here. Closest other battles, Roberts trying to chase down the 4 of Dustin Johnson. I guarantee you, if Wyatt gets there, Justin's gonna beg and plead to let him keep that P4 spot. Did you see Alyssa trying to hold up this 24 the best of her ability? He would 10 to go, now 9 to go. And it could be doable, you know. Obviously, Thomas is gonna have to do something different here. Ooh, that's gonna really compromise Alyssa's right there. He's been really driving it in and compromising kind of the exit, where Thomas is backing up the entry. Get a better run down the back. Well, down really the straights here. This is gonna have to change the way she approaches these corners while she navigates that lap car at Mike Iskandar. She'll get clear. Will Thomas though. They're trying to hold on. 24 all over the back bumper. 24 is going to get there. He's going to bump her again. And Alyssa is going to save it. Thomas did not. Thomas had enough, right? Said, you've held me up for too long. I got to go, man. 8 to go. I need the spots, right? And a great save by Alyssa. She'll get the P7 spot right now, but those tires are probably done. Gonna have to limp it around here for 8 more laps. Daniel has been a little bit quicker than your race leader. Gonna get held up by this lap car here, Steven Sear. Force him to pedal change the way he enters the corner. Get back around. Mark Gonzalez held up by the 51 of Trusty here. Trusty not someone who's gonna pull over, right? He's someone that's like, hey, if you want around me, then pass me the hard way, right? If you're faster, you can get around me. He's not gonna just pull over and let you go. Right? And you see him, he's affecting the 12, this 2 car quite a bit. It's Scott's prerogative here. I mean, trying to stay on the lead lap here. You know, Mark is setting an incredible pace here. He's lapped all the way back up to P11. Scott trying to stay on the lead lap here with 5 to go. Lucky enough for Mark that 77 has not been able to reel him in, even though he's had the fight with this 51. See Mark trying to get impatient. He drove it into he used the top, tried to drive it in, tried to get clear. I think he will get clear this time, so I had to use up that car a little bit to get around the 51 there. I think that might be kind of the ultimate seal of approval here. Hey, Justin Johnson making a move here on the 20. At the spot. Obviously, Nicholas is not just going to pull over and let him go. He wants this podium spot. Justin going to try to use that momentum off the top side. Make this pass work across the stripe. I think the 22, I think the 20 got it at the line there. 3 to go here at Nashville. Best battle on the track right now. The 22 and the 20 going at it for this podium spot. These two are pretty close off the track here, so you know they're going to race each other pretty hard. And Justin needs the spot because remember, Thomas got around Alyssa, so he needs to make up the spot here because now it's a 3-point swing now, right? Justin in 3rd, Thomas in 6th. That's only a 3-point swing. Justin makes the pass work. This Mark Gonzalez takes the white flag here. Dominant race for Mark here. We talked to him earlier in the show briefly about, you know, he thought he could get it done. Thought that Team Penske was looking really quick. And you look at the cars here in the top 5. 3 of the top 5 Team Penske machines. Just like that, out of turn 4. Mark Gonzalez, his 2nd win of the season. Give it to him. He's going to take you here from Nashville. Mark Gonzalez, a dominant run here. Look at this 86 lap sled tonight here from the Nashville Superspeedway. Team Penske's going to come home victory lane once again here. Cody Meadows got it done here once this season, I believe. Mark's going to bring it home. So we'll see him burn it down here on the front stretch. You'll always see Mark come down, wave to the fans here, or he does his celebrations. What a dominant one for Mark. You look at this, 115 laps led tonight. I mean, There was no one who was going to touch this too all race long. There he goes. He's going to start to burn it down for you fans at home. You earned it, Mark. What a performance here for this Penske 2 machine. Obviously, the Cup Series this weekend going to Coronado. We took an off week for Mother's Day, I believe, here from the SuperSpeedway here at Nashville. So we thought this was a good idea to put to put Nashville here in place of Coronado, as obviously new track here on the sim. I think especially here for iSNF, I think this suits iSNF a little bit better than San Diego. So Mark Gonzalez burning it down here on the front stretch. Congratulations to this whole 2 team. Finally gets it back in victory lane here. He's been so close. Hasn't been able to put the piece together. I think his last one from Richmond earlier this season. So if I'm not mistaken. See him park it down here in victory lane. See if we can go ahead and talk to the 2. Mark Gonzalez up here in HVTV booth. See what the mindset is for this whole 2 team. Everything else, we'll look at your. Remember, we will talk to your top 3 finishers tonight here in the HVTV booth. Justin Johnson, DJ Daniels, and Mark Gonzalez. While we wait on them to come up into the booth, we're going to take one quick commercial break here, and we'll be back to talk to your top 3. Look at you on official race results tonight here from Nashville, and get ready to end the broadcast here and get ready for your season finale next week from Chicagoland.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We'll welcome you back to the post-race show here from the virtual Nashville SuperSpeedway. As we saw Mark Gonzalez just put on a clinic tonight here from Nashville. And speaking of Mark, let's go ahead and talk to him up here in HVTV booth. We have him down here in Victory Lane waiting on an interview. So let's go ahead and talk to tonight's winner here, Mark Gonzalez. Hey, Mark, Christian up here in HVTV booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Well, obviously a dominant win for you and this whole 2 team. 115 laps led tonight. Swept the stages tonight. What is it about this place tonight that just had you feeling good tonight? Obviously a dominant performance tonight for you and this whole 2 team.
I really think it's the surface. I really like running on concrete tracks with Bristol, Dover, and now Nashville has concrete. So I think it's just really in my realm, and it really plays into my benefit.
Yeah, obviously we've seen you run pretty well here in the past, and obviously it's one of those kind of tracks that you kind of have to hit your marks. You kind of have to be consistent, because if you overdrive the corners, you overdo it, you burn off the tires. And for as a driver from the past, and obviously as a broadcaster here looking in, you seem like one of those drivers who always seem to keep the tires underneath you and can consistently run at a decent pace here. Walk us through that kind of mentality of you trying to just keep the car going, right? Obviously a little bit of a different pit strategy for you compared to some other drivers tonight. Walk us through that as well.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep the car under me. I know out of the corner, if you turn the wheel too much, it could get loose on you. So I was just trying to keep a steady wheel and good throttle control with the extra horsepower. And with the pit strategy, I was just trying to go as long as I can because you never know. Somebody can somebody can spin out on pit entry, and I don't want to be a lap down and stuck in that scenario trying to come back through the field again.
Obviously, you were one of the last to come down pit road there, and obviously had the fresher tires and were able to, get your way back up towards the front there, and obviously inevitably get back to the race lead here, get your second win of the season here. So congrats on that. Obviously, mathematically eliminated from chasing a championship here in season 11, but looking into next week from Chicagoland, obviously we've seen you and really all of Team Penske running really well at these mile and a half. What's the outlook next week going into Chicagoland?
Just try to keep the momentum going, try to, capitalize. I mean, I know I can't probably get first, but I still want to try to, get second or whatever I can get out of the season and just keep that momentum going through the next season.
And definitely a strong answer for you. Obviously, not going to be able to be competitive for a championship, but I think a good way to, get momentum flowing for for season 13 for season 12 is just to continue to come out here and put on, some more finishes for you and this whole 2 team, looking forward. But once again, another congratulations on a dominating performance here from Nashville. Before we let you go, Mark, anybody you want to shout out, appreciate, or thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, I want to thank the 2 team. They put on an amazing car. And I also want to thank the Penske guys. They are really supportive. They give us really valuable information throughout the race. And I just want to thank Rhea for putting on a league that's awesome. And I love coming every week. And I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast. I know how much time that takes out of your day.
We definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth. I know Rhea definitely appreciates the remarks for her as well. But once again, Mark, another congratulations on another win here, this time from Nashville. And we'll drag you back up to celebrate with your teammates and get ready for next week here for the championship finale.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you. Justin Johnson comes. Here comes DJ. We're trying to find him up here in the booth here. We'll see if we can find the driver of the number 77 here up in the booth. I think we got him. See if we can talk to DJ up here in the HVTV booth. Hey DJ, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
What's up?
Not much. I mean, you coming home P2. Obviously you led a couple laps tonight here from Nashville, but you were up there inside the top 5 throughout, I would say, most of the race here. Coming home P2, obviously I don't think anybody had anything for Mark tonight. But you definitely did your best to try to get back up there. You got within a second and a half, and then it felt like Mark just kind of started to push a little bit towards the end there to keep that gap steady. But walk us through your race tonight. Walk us what got you up here into a P2 finishing position.
Well, we didn't wreck. I can't say I didn't get into anything. I had fixed, I don't know, a minute of damage or so. Yeah, just clean airs, everything. I tried to short pet him and almost got there, but he came down on me, but I backed out of it. I was being really aggressive. I feel like maybe if I could have got in front of him, I may have had something, but other than that, yeah, he just had a fast car.
Obviously, we've talked about time and time again, especially at these kind of, generic mile and a half style tracks here. The clean air it means so much here, especially here at Nashville on the concrete where, kind of the lane I wouldn't say it's single groove, but there's definitely not a lot of places to go up and search around for grip here. And so walk us through that, obviously having to deal with that throughout the race tonight.
Well, you don't really notice it until you run behind somebody for 15, 20 laps, and yeah, it's so hard to pass. I mean, the car can work when you're, 5 car lengths behind somebody, but what happens is you pull right up to their right up to their back bumper and just the car doesn't turn. So I'm sure you've seen I was getting behind Mark and just trying to look around, find anything. I think you've probably seen me venturing up the racetrack a couple of times, but I found out really quickly it doesn't work.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed really hard to pass tonight, especially here from Nashville, where that bottom was kind of the only line you could run. You venture up, you lose time, and it just looked super frustrating to try to pass here tonight. But for you, DJ coming home P2, your first couple starts here in the iSNF Cup Series, a really good start to your campaign here. I'm interested in seeing if someone wants to sign you for next season, but obviously a good run for you tonight.
Yeah, yeah, I'm having fun, just trying to stay out of trouble.
And definitely a good mindset to have here, especially with the season coming to a close. Trying to stay out of trouble, keeping your head down, and not getting in, getting into anybody. That's a good starting place here coming into season 12. But a great run for you, DJ, and this whole 77 team. But before we let you go, I'm going to hand the floor over to you to thank anybody, shout out anybody you want to, before we let you go tonight.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for your time broadcasting, putting it on for us, and also anybody who may be watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I got to thank Matt Metler. He's the one that kind of brought me here and brought this to fruition. So, and I guess whoever didn't show up for letting me fill in too.
That would be Craig, yeah, in the 77. But yeah, a really strong run for you, DJ. I look forward to seeing what you can do here if you can find a ride next week from Chicagoland.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, we appreciate your time up here in the booth, and I definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth as well. But we'll let you go, and good luck next week from Chicagoland if you can find a ride. If not, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what future opportunities you can get here in the Cup Series.
Yes, sir. Me too. Thank you.
DJ Daniels comes home P2 tonight here from Nashville, and let's talk to the number 22, Justin Johnson, trying to run down and trying to, cut the points gap back to the 24. We'll see if we can talk to the 22 up here in the booth. Justin, it's Christian up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, Christian?
Well, a P3 finish for you. Another podium finish. Know, uh, had a good, decent couple stages compared to the 24 tonight. Obviously, I feel like that's the bigger picture for you, trying to point your way to at least get yourself within striking distance to Thomas here going into Chicagoland, but still a really good run for you. You looked like you had, top 4, top 3 speed the whole race. Got a little bit of damage earlier in the race, but we're able to get it fixed, drive your way up through the field. Come home P3, walk us through your race, walk us through, through your eyes what happened tonight.
Yeah, so obviously starting up front there, and Thomas getting into trouble early, was able to get second in stage 1, and then able to get third in stage 2. So I thought it was going to be pretty good going into the last stage, but I had to fix some damage from earlier, starting in the back. Went completely green for the rest of the race, which was kind of a shock after the first couple laps, and still got third. But obviously, as you said, the bigger picture is the championship, and the 24 got 6. So whittling away at it, but it's still just not really what I needed for today.
Obviously, it seems like that 24, regardless of what happens, can just put together a solid finish to at least keep it close, right? Obviously, you still beat him out in every metric here tonight from Nashville. But looking into Chicagoland, obviously, I talked to, Mark, your teammate. These Penske guys, you Penske guys always show up here at these mile and a halves really strong. What's the outlook for Chicagoland next week?
I really feel like there's only one option. I don't know what the points look like yet, but I know definitely going to have to need a win. I don't know how far back I'm going to be, but that's number one. I can only be as good as I can be. So a win is the priority at Chicagoland.
And obviously, knowing that you have to win, how are you going to put any extra prep into trying to get ready for next week at Chicagoland? As you know, you have to win. You probably have to win both stages. Probably get the bonus points for fastest lap, all that stuff. Is there going to be any more prep for the 22 team coming into next week?
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely have to think about the race beforehand. Gonna have to look and see what the car feels like, and hopefully can have the perfect day. But we'll see. We don't know yet. Just gonna have to be a little more aggressive and a little more tact when it comes to these stage points, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, how this all shakes out towards the end there. It's still you and the 24 battling for that potential championship, but still a good P3 run for you tonight here from Nashville. So we congratulate you on that. Just continuing to, take chunks out of this point lead. But before we let you go tonight, Justin, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, or shout out tonight here from Nashville?
I'm just gonna shout out my Penske teammates, of course. Mark and Cody. Oh, and Wyatt as well. They're they're great. They're always good company in the voice call together, and we always put on a strong showing.
I definitely can't disagree with you there. Obviously, Cody, not the best finish for him once again. He's kind of in a sophomore slump uh, with that 12 machine. But, you look at Team Penske guys, coming home, first, third, and fifth. So good, strong performance for you guys in the Penske machines. Hopefully, you guys can take that momentum to Chicagoland. We wish you good luck to potentially go try to run and chase down your first championship next week from Chicagoland.
And hopefully so. Thank you, Christian.
Yep. Justin comes home P3 tonight here from Nashville, and a strong running. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Justin because he's doing everything he needs to try to put the finishes together, get the stage points, and Thomas, he just got such a good gap, right? I don't know if it's going to be enough for Justin to get there. It's going to be interesting to look here as we take a look at the points going into next week. But let's go ahead and take a look at your unofficial race results here tonight here from Nashville. Obviously, we talked to your top 3 finishers tonight here from Nashville as Mark Gonzalez, DJ Daniels, and Justin Johnson round out your podium. Nicholas Johnson, he was a top 3 car all night long, comes on P4. P5, the Wyatt Roberts, he was definitely up and down tonight, but got that car where he needed to be there towards the end there with the Ward Brothers 21 machine. He comes on P5. Thomas Flynn, like we said, got caught up in a bunch of stuff. Somehow squeaks out of top 6. I think that's his strongest here is being able to figure out how to get a good finish tonight. Alyssa Sharp, remember we saw Thomas and Alyssa giving jabs back and forth through each other. She barely squeaks out and barely squeaks out ahead of her JGR teammate back there in the 19th, Timothy Cook, who finishes P8. Jeff Weimer, P9, a good run for him. The last car on the lead lap, and then you see everybody else one lap down and further on. Scott Trusty, a good top 10 run for him. Look further back here at P11, Eugene Thorne in the 34. Steven Sear, P12. Mike Iskandar, P13. Don Blazier, P14. Shane Johnson, P15. And you'll see Larry Fairman rounding out your one lap down machines. And you'll see back here in 17th, Taryn Preston, 2 laps down. 18th will go to John Hopley in that 4R front row machine, 9 laps down. Joey Maines, 16 laps down. And the Hendrick 48, he'll finish P19. And P20 out early, Cody Meadows in that Penske machine. Just like I said, sophomore slump for Cody. I think he can hopefully figure it out next season here. But Justin Barkley out early, P21. P22 goes to Chuck Cobb. Jimmy Johnson back there in P23. P24 to Bob Wyckoff. Charles Roberson in P25. P26 goes to Matt Metler. Rhea Ferris, Gabe Ledger, Will Austin. The 2 RCR machines round out your field tonight in 28th and 29th. But obviously a pretty... I would say this is probably one of the calmest races we've unironically called here in the iSNF Cup Series recently. We've had quite a few caution field races, and it felt nice. It was like a nice breath of fresh air here from Nashville. We did get a couple of a sprinkle of cautions there in the first half, but after we went green for stage 3, we went green the rest of the way there, right? That what 70, 80 lap run there. And it was nice to see. It was a breath of fresh air. And you started to see the guys who can manage the tires actually get to drive up to the field there. You see Mark, he kept the track position. He gets his second win of the season. You see, Justin drive his way up to the field. You saw Wyatt Roberts drive his way up to the field. You saw Thomas battle up to a P6 finish again. And it was definitely a breath of fresh air to see everybody come back and have a good, second half of the race here, basically. It was definitely cool to see that. But I don't think I got anything else for you guys. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what the points look like going into Chicagoland to see if Justin even has a shot to get the championship away from the 24. Obviously, with how many drivers show up every race here, we had 30 cars show up tonight here from Nashville. It's definitely, I think, possible if Justin can get within, I would say 45, 50 points of Thomas here. If you think about it, if he wins both stages, that's 20 points, right? Plus, the I think 65 points you get for winning the race in the chase format, right? It's not over for definitely for Justin. I think depending on how many cars show up next week from Chicagoland. But once again, if you see on the bottom side of your screen, my name is Christian Delgado, lead producer and commentator tonight here for the iSNF Cup Series and for the whole Season 11 Cup Series. We appreciate everybody coming out and watching tonight's broadcast. If you wouldn't mind dropping a follow, whether you're watching over on the High Velocity TV YouTube channel or over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. We appreciate all the support and everything else. We appreciate everybody over here at iSNF for allowing us to come on and put on a good show for you guys at home. Thank you to Rhea for being so supportive and all that stuff. Definitely couldn't do without her, putting a lot of time in and out of the car to make sure everything runs smoothly. But once again, I think it's time for me to call it a night here from the virtual Nashville SuperSpeedway. We look forward to Chicagoland next week as we end Season 11 there in Joliet, Illinois, to see who can take home the Season 11 championship. Will it be Thomas Flynn? Will it be Justin Johnson? I can't wait to find out to see you next week from Chicagoland. But once again, hope everybody has a great rest of the Saturday of your Saturday evening. Enjoy the rest of the O'Reilly race. It's still on. And we'll see you guys next week here from Chicagoland Speedway. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night. I'll see you guys soon.